I love Jrpgs, but that wasn't always the case. At one point in my life, I made fun of them. I didn't respect them, nor the sort of people who usually play them. You know, smelly weebs. The type that don't shower or wear crap like this in public. Hell, I made fun of the way the characters looked, from how Tetsuya Nomura overly designs everybody, weird weapons like this gunblade, and how overly anime it looked to me. But I learned to embrace, if not love, that aesthetic of the genre. Which is ironic considering I've been an anime fan since the time I stayed up late just to watch Toonami and Adult Swim as a kid. So, some background info on me. I'm second generation Mexican American, growing up in and out of the ghetto for most of my life. I was often pressured to fit in and play what others played around me. Problem was, I grew up poor with multiple siblings. My family would rather spend cash on multiplayer games like Madden, FIFA, or Call of Duty. At least we had platformers to break up the monotony of ball and gun games. Adding fuel to the fire, my family was a PlayStation family. So while I had the likes of Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, and of course Jak and Daxter, and I love those games, at my core I'm a PlayStation fanboy. I missed out on a lot of other great games to not be able to afford them. So the fact that my family was broke as shit meant no Nintendo games like Mario, Zelda, or Kirby. And as a PlayStation fanboy, Xbox titles didn't appeal to me because stupid little kid console war fanboy shit. PC gaming was out of the question due to being too broke to even afford Wi-Fi till I was already in high school. Even worse, not getting interested in the cool franchises that were on PlayStation till I was already an adult. Resident Evil, Metal Gear Solid, Silent Hill, Devil May Cry, not to mention JRPGs like Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest. But that all changed a couple of years ago. As I began to enter my 20s, after years of playing the same type of games, I finally tried out a JRPG game. I played Final Fantasy X. I don't have to tell you why that game is important to the Final Fantasy franchise, let alone JRPGs. So when I first played it, I had some money and I found a cheap PS2 to buy, and I wanted some games to try out. So it was Metal Gear Solid 3 and Final Fantasy X. The world of Spira draws your attention, especially with the soundtrack that gives this world an otherworldly vibe in this post-apocalyptic setting. The turn-based combat that is simple to use and has the benefit of switching party members mid-combat for optimal play. Each party member filled with personality. Well, most of them. Hell, I even liked, more or less, Blitzball. Yes, Blitzball. To say I was in love with the game is underselling what I felt. So, whether emulating or outright buying each entry, I had to try the other games. And from what many consider the best era of Final Fantasy, 7, 8, 9, especially 7 as it's the most iconic of the franchise. I started playing spin-offs of 7, like Crisis Core, which itself is beloved by the fan base, although the remake has its own share of critics, mostly because of the new cast. Speaking of remakes, Final Fantasy VII Remake, as it's both a sequel and a remake of the original game. While most diehard fans feel the remake lacks the charm of the original, not to mention the opinion that Square Enix really shouldn't have divided the remake into a trilogy of games. A similar opinion I had about the Hobbit book being made into a movie trilogy, despite the fact that I did enjoy them. Considering that my ADHD brain loves more content about the world of 7, but my critical self understands the need for tighter story and less bloat for the remakes. That said, the expanded character work, great mix of real-time combat with pseudo-elements of turn-based using the ATB meters, and the benefit of seeing the world of 7 in not only just HD but also high-res definition is amazing to see. So when I heard that some of the cast of 7 were in the game series Kingdom Hearts, like an addict, I had to see what's going on and get more of it. So, I did, and truth be told, Kingdom Hearts is such a rabbit hole of a franchise to get into. All I have to do is just play this clip of Mickey Mouse just to get a cheap laugh.
Say, fellas, did somebody mention the door to darkness?
As I love the real-time action combat of Kingdom Hearts that has influenced all of Final Fantasy since KH1. The art style that combines Tetsuya Nomura's Final Fantasy designs with Disney just is something unique and charming, despite how weird it can be sometimes. Anyways, I went from Final Fantasy to Kingdom Hearts to the next franchise I want to spotlight, Dragon Quest. The franchise that defined Jrpgs, from the world and local town maps to the turn-based combat, and of course the equipment that helps boost stats on top of leveling up your party and your main character. Again, these are just basic mechanics that are just obligatory to the genre, but keep in mind that JRPGs were the first major franchise to do it, especially on console, and particularly from Japan. What helps Dragon Quest's appeal, especially to me, is the character designs of Akira Toriyama, one of the goats of shonen manga. Now, consider that I'm a Mexican Dragon Ball fan. It would be natural that I love the way these characters and monsters are designed by the legendary Akira Toriyama. From its simplest of NPCs to the gnarliest monsters to even her. To put it bluntly, I love Dragon Quest. I love each entry I had the luxury of trying out, and considering the fact that as of this video's posting, we're currently in a renaissance of remakes for the series, and while we are potentially years away from 12's release, we at least have the remakes of the Jrpgs trilogy, aka 1, 2, 3, and 7 remake to help us keep busy here in the West. I can only imagine how big it is for the fans in Japan for Dragon Quest. The country that rumor has it nearly every mainline release is treated as an unofficial holiday, and that the games have to be released on a weekend, so that both school kids and adults can play without skipping weekdays. Now, after getting my Square Enix fix, I wanted to see what the new king of JRPGs, Atlas Games, had in store for me. For a long time now, I've seen how polished, how stylish, and how structurally sound their games are. And, well, that appealed to me. I went with the most popular and newbie-friendly game in the franchise, Persona 5 Royale. The game's presentation, from the main menu, the intro, the variety of enemies, its unique dungeons, and the personas you can use. Just so you know, personas are like JoJo stance. Add to the fact that the calendar system that provides choice in regards of which side character or party member you want to hang out with, how you develop your time, whether it's to build your base stats like courage or just to get items, really makes this world feel lived in. A system that works so well, Atlas put it in another game of theirs, Metaphor Refrantatio, which in blunt terms is high fantasy Persona, because the archetypes are just like personas, used for magic spells and all that. Yeah, that's just me being blunt. In all honesty, Metaphor is such a good game, I wish more people talked about it, let alone play it. But I kind of feel that way with a lot of JRPGs. As I went to a journey of playing some of the best and discovered underrated gems in the genre, whether it's the rare but easily emulated Panzer Dragoon Saga, to Skies of Arcadia, Xenoblade Chronicle games, which by the way, they're available on Switch, so wink wink, and of course, masterpieces like Chrono Trigger. Now, I yapped about JRPGs for a couple of minutes, and I just want to say I understand that this genre doesn't appeal to everybody. Heck, that was once my case. But I want to state this. Be open to something different, because sometimes it could be the most rewarding. In all honesty, I'm glad I gave these games a chance, because for years I missed out on some good games. And sure, the quality can vary. The stories can be convoluted as fuck. The romance choices can cause civil war amongst fans. like Aerith and Tifa fans. But here's something you can always count on for this genre. They would always have such amazing and stellar music, massive and lore-rich worlds, unique characters that may look a little bit funny but are still cool nonetheless, gameplay that is just beyond turn-based, can have a mix of hack and slash, real-time action. It varies. And more importantly, considering the rising costs in our everyday life, let alone in this stupid fucking hobby, Jrpgs are usually the best bang for your buck these days, as despite the games being at least $80 nowadays, unless is actually $100 fucking dollars. That's part of the reason why I'm going with older video games, either to just emulate or just buy them cheap, because shit's expensive now. Just be open to JRPGs because they're so content and story rich that spending the dough for a brand new one is kind of worth it day one. Otherwise, if you have a huge back catalog like me, expect some games like Octopath or Shin Megami Tensei 5 to be played well after release, despite their level of quality. If you made it to this part of the video, thank you for watching. If you want to see more content like this, just drop a like down below, comment, click the links to help support me. Otherwise, you have a good rest of your day, and thank you for watching.